Welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. We are bringing you the latest transfer news coming out of Aston Villa this evening. We have some big stories to talk about, and one massive story has broken tonight that Aston Villa have joined the race to sign Wolves' Matheus Cunha. Oh boy, this is spicy. This is interesting, and I'm really excited to that. We're going to also have a look again at what Fabrizo Romano has been saying about Aston Villa and all his news and stories about that, as well as apparently Donyell Malen's debut potentially incoming this weekend and how he may be having his first start for Aston Villa. All of that to come. Make sure you smash a like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you get in the comments for this one, because this one is going to be a fun one. This one is going to start cooking because Aston Villa genuinely could be hijacking a massive move for Matheus Cunha. But that also means that Aston Villa could be selling someone, because we are a one in, one out policy. And it does make me wonder, is this Al-Nassr story and situation real? And are we going to be losing Jhon Duran? All of that is what we're going to talk about today. But big up to everyone. I cannot wait for this. It is the weekend. It is the Friday night. It is coming into the game day of Aston Villa in a few days' time against West Ham. But today, the focus is on the breaking story that's coming. Let's just share it on our screen right now. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to Vamos the VJ. Big up to Farmy. Big up to Meeks. Big up to Daniel Bate. Things you love to see. Let's get this on the screen right now for us, okay? Because it's here right now. Aston Villa are the latest club to be monitoring the situation of Matheus Cunha. Now, this story broke from the Mail. The Mail broke this story, and it's been reported a fair few times now that Aston Villa are going to be in for Matheus Cunha. And you think, okay, there's been a list of clubs reported for him, and what we are going to see is potentially a seismic change in this transfer window if this is a real story. If this has scope, if this has fruition, losing Jhon Duran and gaining Matheus Cunha could be a story that we talk about this transfer window. And it all interlinks for me. And I want to know your thoughts on this 100%. Big up to my mum as well from Hong Kong, locking in. Love to see it. And look, let's get this story first of all. So the source is here. It's, again, as I said, it's broken from the Daily Mail, chief football reporter from the Daily Mail. Again, whether you like the Mail or not, that is the story and situation that they have broke today. But monitoring the situation, joining the race for the situation, interested in the situation is the key phrase here. It's not saying that Matheus Cunha is going to come to Aston Villa, but we are definitely now monitoring if Cunha is going to leave. There's been a lot of misinformation about Matheus Cunha this transfer window, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about that in a second, because there's been reports that he was going to get a new deal at Wolves, and Wolves were going to lock him in, and he was going to be secured, and he was going to be there. He's also given the captain's armband at one point. But the thing with Matheus Cunha is that apparently the noise is coming out that he could be looking to have a move out for this January transfer window, especially with Wolves in amongst that relegation zone, especially with Wolves' poor run of form, and also, furthermore, the fact that teams like Arsenal have also been interested in Matheus Cunha does make me believe that this guy is available and free, and for the right move, the right club, I think he could snatch him up. Now, I'm looking at this player in two ways. And we will be looking at Matheus Cunha's stats this season and from last year. But also, I think Matheus Cunha is definitely one of those players you call on the eye test. And I'll explain that a little bit more later. But Matheus Cunha, for me, is someone who ticks the eye test absolutely 100%. And a really exciting player. But look, Cunha, how much is he worth? We'll go into that in a minute. And Meeks is also saying about the valuations. He's in 50 to 75 million. And that is going to be the big thing about price ranging of Matheus Cunha. He's not going to be cheap. To prize him away from Wolves in the January transfer window while they're in a relegation battle, it's going to cost. It's going to cost a lot. So look, have a look at this then to further back it up, this report. This is obviously the situation which we would probably have to be more realistic about, though, is that the only way we can go and get Matheus Cunha if one comes in and the other comes out. And as it says here, it is understood Villa would look to move a player out before committing to a suite for Cunha to ensure they stay well within PSR. Basically, what we're saying is we ain't going to be able to drop 50 million out of the pond like that just to get this guy, because we could be putting ourselves in a horrible, sticky situation. What we do have to do is get one player out. And we all know, hopefully, who that player could be. And when I say hopefully, I don't mean hopefully we don't lose him. I'm actually saying that, you should be well aware of the story and news that is circulating about a certain player, which we're going to go to, because everyone is linking. Everything is linking. I keep saying this. All these transfer stories right now are 100% linking. And I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit worried. I've been very convinced for a while that Jhon Duran will not be leaving this transfer window. I say it every time I come here and we talk about Duran. I've been absolutely 100% convinced Jhon Duran should and will not leave in January. However, the tide could change. Football, transfer market, business situation could change. And I'll tell you what, West Ham this weekend. Let's picture this. What if Jhon Duran does not start against West Ham? What if Jhon Duran is sat on the bench against West Ham on Sunday and has limited game time? What if that is another indication? Now, I've said this, that Unai Emery is managing Jhon Duran, is managing him as a person, managing him as a player. But what also if he's just protecting him and Aston Villa and saying, listen, I'm keeping you out of the limelight until this January transfer window shuts. I want to know what's going to happen with the Duran situation on Sunday. Now, if Jhon Duran starts against West Ham, I think we'll be very clear in knowing that Jhon Duran is going to be all right. But I'm interested. Al-Nassr has said, Wolves said they won't take less than 67.5 million for Cunha if he leaves in January window. 100% Wolves will hardball this. Now, that's why I'm saying the one in, one out situation. And that's where the money and price of Jhon Duran is also going to be massive. Meek said, I'll be shocked if I can get him in. Even in the summer, I'd be more shocked to see that negotiating completed this window. It's going to be so hard to get a player like Matheus Cunha in as Wolves have highballed him. Arsenal have had a dabble. They've looked at it and gone, do you know what? It's too much. It's too much. And let's appreciate Matheus Cunha. There's two things, actually, when I was reading over this before I went live, that shocked me about Cunha. Number one, he's 25 years old. I had no idea that Matheus Cunha was actually that young chap. I thought Matheus Cunha, for some reason, was late 20s into his 30s. I did not realise Matheus Cunha was 25 years old. Now, that already, to me, actually gives a little bit more of a better proposition of the signing in itself. The longevity. This seems a lot more like an Aston Villa signing when you see the age of 25 years old. Second of all, experienced Premier League player. First season didn't obviously take note, but it's that second season for me that we really should be looking at a little bit more. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger so you can all see a bit better. The second season there, 23-24, 32 matches. So good injury record. 12 goals, 7 assists. Brilliant return in the second season where he really caught note and people started to see this guy for who he was. But again, this season, I think he's been nothing but superb again. And I'll say that in the sense that he is carrying a relegation fodder side. He is carrying a Wolves side. He is carrying them on his back. His back must be absolutely aching. Matheus Cunha must be having severe backache this season and must be having to go in and out of the therapy room to sort his back out. Because honestly, he's carrying Wolves. 10 goals, 4 assists in a team that is absolutely dross. Gary O'Neill butchered him. Is he going to get any better under this new manager? I'm not so sure. Matheus Cunha is a player that Aston Villa would be absolutely chomping their lips at. Honestly, I think this would be an unbelievable signing. And that, for me, is a player who has been consistent for a pretty poor team. And I can see him slotting straight in at Aston Villa. I actually think it'd be a very seamless and smooth transition. He's also a Brazilian international, plays in the World Cup qualifiers. And you can see there he's been in World Cup qualifiers. But I also want to remind people as well that this guy's got Champions League experience. He's played in the Champions League for Atletico Madrid in the years that he was there. A very, very experienced, well-rounded player. And that's what I really like about it. That's what I really like about it. This isn't just a rumoured buy. This is one that completely makes sense to me. And I really, really do hope Villa can work something out. If not in this January window, if he stays for Wolves. But definitely an option for the future. I'm going to go to some of the chat here and see what you guys say about this. But big up to everyone. Make sure you are smashing the like button. We're going to aim for 25 likes on this stream live and direct. So big up to you guys. Mike Kane's in the house. He says Wolves fans are not going to like this, but it gets the Mike Kane seal of approval. Things you have to see. Prez Lionel says, mate, I just can't wait to see Andrea Garcia. Finally, a modern day European, highly skilled young Spanish right back. I'm looking forward to it as well. I really am. Look, wages are always a big thing. I know that Jhon Duran is on a big wage, big wage situation. That was part of the bumper contract he got to hype up his wages. Hopefully, we'll match that in that sense. But yeah, and look, Prez Lion is saying, I would take Cunha over Duran. It's his opinion. It's absolutely a fair one. And VJ saying Bailey and Duran for Cunha-amid. I like it. Well, listen, Bailey's still going to hang around, I reckon. And I think it's more that actually, if it is Cunha for Duran as a straight swap, it's that's what we're going to have to deal with. So look, this was the report that was coming out today. Again, we'll look at the source in there. But yesterday we talked about that there was interest from Al-Nassr for Jhon Duran. Well, this one's heating up again, really. Another source, another person who wants to basically validate, and that is Mike McGrath, who's a football reporter at the Daily Telegraph. So the Daily Telegraph here. But it's another situation here. It says Al-Nassr prepared an official offer for Jhon Duran. The one thing I do not like about the Saudi transfer window is that the Saudi transfer window shuts after the Premier League one. There is a later window for the Saudi one. That always scares me. I know Aston Villa will not put themselves in a situation where we sell a player outside of our own one. But you have to be real here now. What if Al-Nassr come in with a mind-blowing offer? Now, I want to know genuinely in the chat and anyone watching on replay what you think a realistic, mind-blowing offer would be for Jhon Duran to then pave way for Matheus Cunha. If I would say this, if unrealistically Saudi came in 100 million, we'd be absolutely thick to not take that offer. We snap their hands. We say, thank you very much. We're going to go get Cunha for 60, 70, and we'll try and add another centre-back as well for 30 million. 2 players for the price of 1. Longevity, future building. Thanks very much. And I actually think that's where we're looking at. That's what we probably could be looking at. Now, would a Saudi team bid 100 million for a player like Jhon Duran, who's burst onto the scene more than ever this season with his temperament? It's a big gamble and a massive thing to do. Realistically, I think a Saudi club would offer 70, 80 at tops for Duran. And I want to know what you guys think. And look, 80 million would probably get us Cunha and maybe another centre-back if we needed it, with maybe someone else going out as well. But yeah, I can see a few of you are saying 80 million is fair. But yeah, it's in hindsight. But yeah, I would love to steal Cunha off Arsenal 100%. Big up to Potaz as well. Great to see so many comments. VJ saying 65 million he reckons for Duran, which is, that would be, that again, in today's day and age, people say 65 million for Jhon Duran. It's an absolute bargain. But that would actually feel underwhelming right now. And I think that the reason why now I'm looking at it is to lose a player of Jhon Duran's ilk, potential and goal scoring record, it has to be worth the money. And we have to have that backup ready. And I think Matheus Cunha, 100%, would be that sort of backup. 100%. So very interesting, the thoughts, feelings, and emotions around this one. Because some people would say that Jhon Duran is an asset you simply cannot lose. Other people would tell you that, cashing on him, it could be, dare I say, I don't want to, I don't really believe in this. But what if Jhon Duran's a one-season wonder? What if he's a Leon Bailey-esque that he's absolutely boomed this one, and next season he can't hit a barn door, or his temperament gets in the way again and he ends up falling off? Do you know what I mean? There is so much uncertainty, I think, with Duran and what we're going to get with him. It's great what we've seen this season, but what about next season? What about the season after? Is he always going to be focused on Aston Villa? Is this the highest price we're ever going to get for him? What if Jhon Duran, his market value completely drops in 2 years' time? There's so many ifs and buts, and that's why football transfers are a massive gamble. We took a gamble on bringing back Philogene, flopped, absolutely flopped. We thought that we'd let go a superstar. We brought him back, flopped. So, there's all these ifs, buts, and maybes. But Matheus Cunha excites me. Premier League proven, goal scorer, carrying a relegation side, captain, leadership, experience material. Played in the Champions League, played in Germany, played in Spain. Bring me Matheus Cunha. Let's go and steal him off Arsenal. Let's go steal him off any other club interested. And more importantly, let's piss Wolves off as well. So, yeah. But I want to know your thoughts on that. Yeah, we don't want to be losing money on Duran. Bongo says selling Duran and getting Cunha in is a no-brainer. Cunha can play next to Watkins, unlike Duran. Really good point there. That actually is Cunha more suited to playing behind as a second striker. A really good point there. But you'll also get people saying, but Ollie Watkins should be the one sold. And I think someone did comment on that. I'll have a look in a second. And my thoughts on that exactly this. Aaron Morris says, sell Watkins, keep Duran as number one, and buy Cunha with Watkins fee of about 60 million. Watkins is 29 and sell on value is now dropping fast. And I get that side of the coin as well. What I will say to this is I think Watkins has been more consistent, has proven it now over a bigger period of time. What we are judging Jhon Duran on is a player who has come off the bench and kept scoring. After having a summer where his head absolutely went, he started doing this on social media, and all of a sudden his agent was doing some dusty things. What if Duran flops next season? I think with Watkins, I don't think there's ever a scenario, a situation where Watkins is known as a flop. I think Watkins, regardless of people saying the amount of chances he misses, still scores, still creates, still is the same ilk of player, still the same mentality. So there is that to and fro for me. And I think Unai Emery will look at the bigger picture for his squad and team. Cunha can play with Ollie Watkins 100%. Could Cunha play with Jhon Duran? You know, how would those two work? Would that be even better combination? So much to think about. But yeah, Meek said a 21-year-old that's scoring a goal every 80 minutes is well worth 100 million. I've got to agree on that as well. But yeah, I have seen that young Turkish centre-back as well, which could be another option. If, theoretically, if we sold Duran and we got Cunha and the Turkish centre-back, then all of a sudden, wow. But Cunha does have the lot. And yeah, people are definitely talking about 100 million price tag. So yeah, I like the versatility of Cunha. I like what he can bring to us. I like that, you know, it is something that absolutely catches my eye. When you know someone's done it in the Premier League, you know when someone's got that aura about them. And I say this all the time, the eye test. When you watch Wolves play, Cunha always stands out. Always stands out. And as I said, if someone could find Cunha, a masseuse, a sports therapist, someone to check his back, his shoulders as well, because he's been carrying Wolves this season. Cunha's Buendia's replacement. Imagine that. Amy Buendia goes for 50 million to River Plate. That'd be unbelievable business if we somehow pulled that off. In Monchi, we trust. But yeah, I love Ollie. I think that, you know, for me, Watkins is not the one to sell. I still think Watkins is the one you hold on to. I think up Super Matty Taylor, absolutely the negativity. I understand when people criticise Ollie for missing his chances. I understand when people say that, you know, they don't feel confident with Ollie Watkins sometimes, and can he and will he cost us games? But what people aren't understanding is the mentality of this guy, the strength of Ollie Watkins mentally, the all-round gameplay that he has, and plus his goal numbers do not lie. Ollie Watkins is very much a great consistent performer who scores every season. So look, I'm looking at that. So look, we have got to level up. We have got to think Champions League. And I think that's one. So there's the first part of this story in Matheus Cunha. So the next part then I want to talk about, and I did a video earlier, and big up to anyone who has watched that video earlier, but obviously being a live stream, and that's what we're trying to do now into this transfer window. We're trying to do a live and an upload every day in January. That's to the end of this transfer window now. But if you missed this is what Fabrizo Romano said earlier today. There's a possibility, I think, to bring in one more offensive player. They're considering that even after Donyell Malen, they're looking at some options on the market. So I think Aston Villa could be busy with one or two signings before the end of the window. There we go. But yeah, do you know what? That was really interesting for me. This was before this Matheus Cunha situation. Basically, we all know that Aston Villa are in dire need of a centre-half and probably another wide player. And that's what Fabrizo is confirming to us, that we are going to be in the market for a wide player. We are going to be in the market for someone who's going to add quality in that. But I never had it as Matheus Cunha until later. So, yeah, I want to know exactly this then. what potential wide forwards would Aston Villa be looking at? And of course, the story that doesn't seem to be going away is this one I'm about to share you again, which I talked about in the video as well. But just to sort of show this, is that we seem to not lose the idea of getting Marcos Asensio. And that is the Unai Emery links as such. The Unai Emery links are as follows. That, of course, Unai obviously has a relationship with PSG. Marco is Spanish. And, of course, he is a wide forward who can play in that second striker position. I want to know people's real thoughts, feelings and emotions on Marcos Asensio. Is he someone you think would actually elevate or improve Aston Villa? Again, we talk about his background: Real Madrid, Spanish international, Champions League experience, a winner. But what I want to know is, why are PSG so quick to get rid of this guy after only a couple of years at the club? And I had a little bit of a look at, again, all-round package of what you get with Marcos Asensio. And again, the price is massive for me. I don't want to be paying over the odds for a player of Marcos Asensio, because let's be real here. Let's look at not just his Champions League. Let's look at his sort of Ligue 1 and Champions League stats altogether. So remember, PSG, a team who absolutely swamped their league, a team where they dominate the ball, a team where basically you should be scoring. Marcos Asensio, though, very much barren with game time. In the 23-24 season, 19 games, 4 goals, 5 assists. All of a sudden, I'm seeing that creativity there, the 5 assists. Things you love to see, because that is something I was always looking out for. This season, again, 11 games, 2 goals, 4 assists. So the assist is something that I really like to see, that this guy definitely has that creativity, but is he going to add to the goals? Is he the better option than Matheus Cunha? Well, it all comes down to price, doesn't it? The other thing about Asensio, again, Marcos Asensio is 29. Marcos Asensio is 29 years old, which again, I thought he was a lot younger. So if you're ever going to sign Asensio, it has to be now. It has to be now. And big up to the chat. Mike Kane said 110% for Asensio. He's 29, so if you're going to make top dollar on him, now is the time to sell, which is why PSG are looking at it. Aaron says Asensio will be on big wages. Forget about it. Meeks has said Asensio would only be a band-aid until the end of the season at best. We wouldn't sign him permanent transfer. His wages would be ridiculous. And that is what people are worried about, the wages of this guy. And the stats are not wow. They're not wow for me. They're not exactly, get me off my seat. This guy is unbelievable. And if we go to Real Madrid, though, and see where he plays full seasons, and this is the ones, really, the 22, these 3 seasons here, at the age of basically 25, 26, 27, okay? 5 goals, 2 assists, 10 goals, no assists, 9 goals, 6 assists. He ended his final season with Real Madrid with basically his best GA of 15. That's his best ever GA season ever. Is that what we are? Is that what we still want? Is that really what we still want or not? I need to know your thoughts, feelings, and emotions on that. Because, yeah, I think that we have to be real here and say that if we're going to sign Asensio, it has to be the right wages. It has to not be overpriced. And is he better longevity? So, yeah, would love to know your thoughts on Asensio. Some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no on him. But those Real Madrid, basically, to put the story bluntly, his best ever returns is 15 GA in a season. Bongo Bongo, bring back Grealish and Cunha, it would transform us. I mean, that would be amazing. Put the light on, please. Oh, flag got turned on. We've got how many of those 11 appearances starts for Asensio? Yeah, that's something we definitely need to look at as well. And Piotr said, Fabrizo just said that Villa is still interested in João Felix. I don't think I've had that notification, but I'll have a look. I'm going to sneeze. Oh. Am I going to sneeze? No, just the 2. So, yeah. So, look, Asensio's already turned us down once, which is a great point by Mark Dempsey. I'm not jumping for joy for Marcos Asensio. Never have done. I'm a bit like meh with him. I'm definitely with João Felix as well, yeah. But I think Matheus Cunha now, I'm locked in on this story. if Villa can do something magical and nick him off Wolves, get Matheus Cunha in, then we would be absolutely taking the piss, chat. We'd be absolutely taking the piss out of Wolves. We'd be taking the piss out of Arsenal. Imagine the Lego head breakdown. Mikel Arteta has lost his pool. But we have to get rid of a player first, and that is key. That is absolutely key. Now, listen, Donyell Malen, quickly. A little story on Donyell Malen. I don't know if you've seen his interview and his thoughts going into the game this weekend. But Donyell Malen, the Don, has said this, and this also excites me, because this is another player who is saying, I'm willing to play across any of the front three. He says, it doesn't matter where I'm asked to play, I will be there. I think as a player, it's a good thing to have, being able to play different positions. An indication, really, that, Donyell Malen, I think, is going to be asked to play out of position, maybe in his ideal role, whether that's wide left, whether that's wide right, or whether it's down the middle. I know that Donyell Malen likes to play wide right. And the reason why I know that is because of his heat map. And I'm going to show you that. Donyell Malen absolutely prefers to play on the right. But of course, with Leon Bailey, and whether Unai can persist with the left foot of Leon Bailey on the right, where will Donyell Malen play? Steve B says PSG are the French Chelsea. Bye everyone. It's true. Meek says we don't pay big money for players in the twilight of their career, not unless we're also resigning. Yeah, Gerard, sell Duran and give Louis Barry a go. I'm not sure if that's the one. But yeah, listen, Donyell Malen there. I like that. It's a great mentality and attitude to have that he's willing to play there. But as I said, his heat map last season, his heat map. Have a look at this. This is a Donyell Malen heat map for Borussia Dortmund. Look where he predominantly loves to play. Look where this guy predominantly likes to play. On that right-hand side. So will we see Donny lock down that right-hand side? Will we see Donyell Malen lock down that right-hand side and basically dismantle and displace Bailey? And Unai goes with a front four of Ramsey, of Rodgers, of Malen, and then of one of Duran or Watkins. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting with Donyell Malen and some of the sort of, mindset that he has of being Mr. Versatile, things we absolutely love to see. By the way, big up to everyone. We smashed the 25 likes. Keep smashing the like button if you haven't done so. Get involved in the comments as well. Another forgotten man that I completely forgot, really, that exists in the scope and world of Aston Villa Football Club because he's out on loan is none other than Alex Moreno. Now, he is definitely a bye-bye player. Basically, we need to cash in on him and get some money out of him. It hasn't worked right at Forest. He's lost his starting role. As it says, Alex Moreno, as soon as he lost his starting role at Nottingham Forest, and his minutes have been drastically reduced. And that's because Ola Aina, yeah, and I think that is a really interesting thought on that Moreno's actually lost out. As a result, Real Betis has inquired about taking him on loan for the rest of the season. 100%, 100%, we need to cancel the loan at Forest, get him out at Betis, and then cash in on him at Real Betis. 100% we need to make money off Alex Moreno. There's no way back for him at Aston Villa with Luca Dean, with Ian Matson. There is no sign of any place for a return of Alex Moreno. So if his loan deal is not going well at Forest, then we need to go back to Real Betis. Now, I know there'll be some people in this chat who liked Moreno, who thought he was a good player, who maybe feels like there would be a return for him. But if you had to be realistic, Moreno is our third choice left back. And when you struggle to get minutes in a Forest side, who granted are in the top four, we have to think smart. So I do hope that we sort of cancel this loan and push him back out to Spain, because every penny counts. We want to get our war fund up. We want to get our transfer budget up. We need to free up the wages. Selling Moreno is an absolute must-have. And I keep talking about the loan deals in this window because there's still lots of other players. Bogard, Buendia, Moreno now putting into that one. Maybe one of the keepers, Joe Gauchi as well. What's happening with our loan deals? Where are we going with them? Are we going to get them done quick enough? We'll have to see. But Meeks said on the plus side of Durandis and Watkins will probably hit top form. Yeah, I do. I do feel like he is opposite of Bailey. I think Watkins doesn't like competition, whereas Leon Bailey seems to. So yeah, I think that there's so much going forward. And look, the rumours are absolutely crazy of all the journalists that you get out there. Of course, a story sells, then you put it out there. And I've seen some crazy rumours go about, but that Jhon Duran Al-Nassr one, I really feel like there's something to it. I really feel like Jhon Duran could be linking up with Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think on that, but Matheus Cunha, Marcos Asensio, something for you guys to think about then, and feel free to comment. What other wide players or wide forwards do you think are genuinely an option? People keep screaming Grealish to me, and Bongo said again, Jack Grealish, get Grealish. Grealish, not in a January window. What we need to do, if you ever want a Man City player, you need to wait for Man City to go into having their sort of ruling against them, having their 115 charges against them, having their points deduction, having all their big players leaving on absolute pennies, because that's what could happen. I think Grealish is one to hold out in the summer, not in the January. But look, Rashford's being offered to everyone as well. I saw that, Marcus Rashford, again, I'll be honest with you, chat. He is Matheus Cunha still excites me more than Marcus Rashford. I don't know if there's anyone here who would be keen for a Marcus Rashford type player. I think he comes with a bit of a bad package, a bad ego. I'm gonna be honest, the way he conducts himself, the way he's missed training sessions, the way he's been out nightclubbing. I think he also is confused about what position he wants. I don't want Villa signing a player who doesn't know what position they are. I don't want Villa to have a player going, is he playing off the left? Are we playing him on the right? Is he a striker? Like, it's one thing I cannot look at. When you sign a player, you don't know what role or what position they are. It's one thing I cannot look at. So yeah. But yeah, essentially, I'm not jumping for joy, but Matheus Cunha, I am. And Rashford 350k per week and attitude. Exactly that. So looking ahead against West Ham then, genuine questions to be asked. Steve B said Nkunku on loan. Well, look, that's another Chelsea problem as well. Chelsea have got major issues. They've got Nkunku and João Felix, who both are basically unhappy, both getting no minutes, both very good players and sat on the bench. I do not want to hear any João Felix transfer news ever again in my life. If Unai Emery goes begging for João Felix, God, we'll come across as so desperate. But also, what does Unai know about João Felix that we don't, that makes him feel like he has to keep going hunting for him? Because that is the situation that I feel. We've gone begging for João Felix too much now. We don't want to be that person who keeps begging and looking out for him. So I don't want to be linked to him. But Nkunku, he needs to get out of Chelsea. Tyler Diblin, again, would be one of the future signings of, the young prodigies. Pardon me. I'm absolutely sure that the wide forward player that Aston Villa need to get cannot be a young prodigy. It has to be an out-and-out made player like a Cunha, like an Asensio. Basically, that caliber and ilk. That's what we need. Those are the type of players that we need coming in at Aston Villa. But Nkunku is an interesting one as well. Like how Chelsea ended up with, having two very unhappy attacking players in their midst that everyone else would snap their hand off for. Do you know what I mean? Rob says, Duran asset, a commodity. If the Saudis are ready to pay City money, then cash in 100%. But yeah, actually, let's just do a quick comment spam now. Jhon Duran, £80 million is offered. Are you keeping or selling? Just let me know. 80 million, keep or sell. Do you feel like we still need to keep hold of Duran? Keep or sell? Let me know. But yeah, we're going to have a little preview on the West Ham game now as well. Look, I think we are desperate to see a bit of Donyell Malen. I think that Monaco game summed up our lack of creativity. I reckon that absolute monstrosity of lack of wide play was there. Bailey had another stinker. That right-hand side has been so inconsistent. We've chop and changed at right back all the time. We've had Cash, we've had Konsa, we've had Bogard. That right-hand side has been a mess this season. And now we've got Garcia in. I think Garcia will probably bolster us. Whether we'll see him from the start again will be interesting. But the other thing for me as well is when you've got that mess at the right-back situation, then, of course, the right wing slot, we've tried a bit of Philogene. We've tried Bailey. We've even tried McGinn out there. Rogers has been pushed out there. That, for me, is one position that has been an absolute mess. And I just think right now, Donyell Malen comes in, locks down the right-hand side for a month or two, elevates himself, prowess, goals, assists, a new spark, and then all of a sudden, Bailey's game raises. That's what I've got to say about Malen. I want him to go and lock down that right side. I want him to play week in, week out. I want Bailey to take a turn on the sidelines. I want Bailey to find some hunger to return to form and do that. And as I said, I want to see the right back situation sorted now with Garcia. Is he going to play week in, week out? Costa Nedeljkovic, that's another one I haven't mentioned. Surely we've got to be loaning this guy out. Where have the loan offers gone for Costa? And that is why I think Villa are going to probably sort out all the loanee situations after we have done the buying business. Once we've got everyone in we want, once we've bought all the players we want, we'll loan off the Buendias, the Costas, the Bogards, the keeper situation. Newcastle Cameron Gordon, they did. Spurs in 15th is absolutely injected in your veins. And Rob said, Duran's one man. We cashed in on jacket. It was like the demise of Aston Villa, but it was all right in the end. Exactly that attitude. I like that a lot. So, yeah, West Ham on Sunday. I'm really, really excited for it. Really excited for that game because it's Graham Potter again. I think we need to school Graham Potter. I do sort of like West Ham suffering after sacking David Moyes. I think they jumped the gun on David Moyes after winning them a European trophy. I think it was very harsh on David Moyes. So yeah, I've got a bit of a thing about West Ham suffering, and that is something that I've got to say. I do like beating them. We played awful against West Ham in the FA Cup, and we still beat them. So I want a bit of a big performance from Villa. They owe us as well after that Monaco debacle. They really do owe us. And so I am confident. And of course, we'll be doing a watch along for that on Big Up and YouTube. We're going to be doing the double bubble. So make sure you've got your notification bell on so you don't miss any uploads or any content on this channel. Deji, yeah, he deserves it. Yeah, well, you told me Ant was going to win him a trophy, so he can have all the slack now. How many foreign loans are allowed to make, Josh, since we're looking at loaning out Costa and possibly Moreno? It's a really good point, actually. I'm going to assume the same as what you're thinking too, but I might be wrong. Someone in the chat might be able to correct us. But yeah, we do need a settled right-hand side. The left-hand side is pretty much on lock, isn't it? It's Luca Dean / Jacob Ramsey when he's fit, but if not, Morgan. So, interesting. What about Marcos Asensio at the CB? I've seen that linked. Would be another interesting one. I think the centre-back choice that we're looking for, if I'm serious, the centre-back we're probably looking for may not be now the top tier fodder that we want, but maybe someone who's a bit more of a prodigy. Because I'm looking at the situation again with Garcia in, we've got Konsa, we've got Mings, and we've got Powell. Whether we absolutely are able to land our next CB, I think Loic Bade was what we had all our eggs on the basket in. That's failed. I just maybe think Villa haven't got plan B and they don't want to force a plan B. I think it was all on Loic. And that one has gone south. So maybe they'll just hold back on that. But yeah, it's really, really interesting, the situation. Is Ian Maatsen happy at the club? I think everyone expected Ian Maatsen to play more minutes than he has this season. It's been hard for him because Luca Dean's been incredible. But when Maatsen has had opportunities to start, it's not always gone to plan. He started against Arsenal. He got hooked at half-time against Arsenal. Luca Dean comes on, gets an assist straight away, and Villa draw the game. So it's not great. It's not great for Ian Maatsen. Every time he seems to get a game or a go, it's not a great game or situation he finds himself in. Aaron Morris says 2 loans with England and 2 outside of England. Bang on from Aaron Morris there. Love it. Absolutely helps with the loan situation conversation. But yeah, I'm excited, chat, to see where we go in our transfer sort of quest, because I keep saying this now. I don't think it's going to be a quiet window. I think we're going to have a bit of a bang towards this end of this window. All eyes are genuinely on Sunday with Jhon Duran. And I'm going to ask you this question almost to conclude. Does Jhon Duran start against West Ham? What's your gut? My gut is Jhon Duran will not be starting. My gut is Ollie Watkins will start against West Ham. I want to know what your gut is. Does Jhon Duran start or is he bench? What's your thoughts? Because I've got a feeling that Jhon Duran is going to be on the bench against West Ham. But yeah, would love to know your thoughts, feelings, and emotions around that, people, because I think that will pave the way to know what's happening. Dean has Benjamin Button this past season, a great analogy. Duran starts, says Steve. Bongo Bongo says no. interesting. I think that Unai's going to bench him. It's not what you want; it's what you think is going to happen. And I do feel that we're going to see him. Anglo-Saxon, big up to you as well in the chat. So yeah, Matheus Cunha. The other thing I haven't even mentioned about Cunha is it's not exactly too far for him to move either. It's not exactly too far for Matheus Cunha to move. From the Black Country to a little trip over to Aston. It could be a very easy transition for him that actually may not even have to move house. It may be commutable. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even think of that. The transition from Wolves to Villa could be very smooth. And that could, again, tide him over. If he's happy where he's living or he's happy with his environment, the move to Villa, if he wants out of Wolves, get out. Get out now. The only thing I'd say about Wolves is as well, with this Cunha situation is, if Wolves get relegated, which they could, Cunha's price drops. No one's paying the 60 million price tag that Wolves are basically putting on Cunha now. Cunha becomes a 30 million player. So if I'm Wolves, you've got to do the maths here. You either believe you're staying up, which, by the way, every Premier League club should have that mentality that, yes, we're staying up. And basically, they don't cash in on him. But if they believe they're going down, you've got to cash on them now. Got to cash on them now. Pete said we must use JD or we lose him. Exactly that. I think if he's bench on the weekend and gets limited minutes, could see a little bit of a shock effect on that. Duran is better from the bench than Watkins. I agree on that. Duran's Cunha with 40 million profit. It's mad. It's mad. But yeah, I didn't think of that. The transition for me is, it's a very smooth transition. Wolves to Villa. A player in terms of relocating, a player who may be settled. I didn't even think of that really until just now. As obvious as it is, isn't it? As obvious as it is. But yeah, I think this Cunha situation is going to be absolutely fascinating. I cannot see him staying at Wolves. I don't know why. I think someone said Wolves lost the other night, didn't they, against Chelsea? And his body language got absolutely destroyed. I don't know who Wolves have this weekend. I don't know if anyone knows who Wolves have got this weekend. But I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on Cunha, his body language, how he applies himself. If Cunha looks like he's sulking, if Cunha looks like his head's gone, if Cunha looks like he's going, I hear the speculation, then that's going to excite me as well. He won't risk the transfer fee by playing JD. True. Imagine if Duran played, got injured, imagine that. Imagine that. If Duran played and gets injured against West Ham. 30 million for Cunha is wishful. Even if they're in the Championship, someone will still pay 45.50. True. Overplay him for that. Wolves Championship bound they are. And Wolves play Arsenal. Okay, Wolves play Arsenal. Oh, interesting. Arsenal, a team that basically have been in the link with Cunha as well. That is a fascinating one, isn't it? That is a fascinating one. I really, really hope and really want to see almost. I'm going to be watching both storylines of Duran and Cunha. And this first thing I'm going to react to, if Duran is on the bench, on my watch along, it's going to be the big talking point. And his body language. But the one thing that worries me about Duran is we know he's got an ill-advised agent. He's got a really poor agent. We've seen what happens with poor agents because we've seen what happened to Carney Chukwuemeka, haven't we? We saw what happened to Carney Chukwuemeka. His agent gets in his head. Carney goes and makes a really poor decision to go to Chelsea, and his career ends up rotting, absolutely rotting. And that's sometimes ill-advised. Although when I say ill-advised, Jhon Duran's agent is going to be thinking of nothing but the money. Money, money, money. So there we go. Rusty John says, do we really need another striker? Well, yeah, really. We don't need another striker if Duran stays. But what we still need is a wide forward or someone who can play with a Duran or Watkins. I keep saying this. Yuri Tielemans' best position is in the double pivot. Yuri's being asked to go and play behind the striker. I don't like Yuri in that position. What we are crying out for is someone who can play alongside Ollie Watkins or Duran, that second striker, and Cunha does that. But look, we don't need an out-and-out number 9. What we need is either a wide forward or a shadow striker, a number 10, whatever you want to call that position. That's what we're after. So, yeah, good old Carney, absolutely suffering from being ill-advised. Yeah, he's made a bit of money. Yeah, he's bank account probably looks healthy, but my gosh, he's lost out on football, hasn't he? He's lost out on the main thing that is playing football. So yeah. But yeah, chat, we are going to wrap this one up then. As I said, it's been a very exciting story about Matheus Cunha. And we have to really wait and see what happens from that. And yeah, I remember someone saying about Wolves, Meeks, before I wrap up. Someone said, you don't know, when people do preseason predictions, people always say, you don't know with Wolves. They either look like they're going to qualify for Europe and go on an incredible run, or they look like they're going to get relegated. And I'd actually probably agree with that with Wolves. You've never, ever know with that side. But yeah, Wolves have been absolutely shambolic. And VJ's confident Malen will be a hit. I think you're spot on there, VJ. I've got a big gut feeling that Malen's going to bring something that Villa have lacked, which is goals from the wide area. We haven't had it from Ramsey. We haven't had it from Bailey. We haven't really had it from McGinn either. We haven't had those goals. So there we go. And Cunha plays on the left, which is where we've been forcing and shoehorning Morgan Rogers, which is not where I want him. As I said, my dream front four, or for Villa, my dream front four for Villa would be really, if you had Cunha into it, Cunha, Watkins, Rogers, Malen. That would be unbelievable. If we didn't get Cunha, it's still Ramsey, Watkins, Rogers, Malen. Malen is always on the right, but if we can upgrade that left flank and get a quality addition. Because the thing of JJ is a great player. JJ is a great ball carrier. There's a lot of potential in there. But JJ in front of goal, geez Louise, Jacob Ramsey needs to find that composure in front of goal. And we have to get better people in. We can't rely on forcing Morgan Rogers out there. We can't rely on asking John McGinn to do a little roll out there. So there we go. But people, as Vamos VJ said, like, subscribe, and share. And also, please do another thing for me. Check you've got your notification bell on and check you've enabled the notifications on your phone so you never miss an upload. We're going hard this year in 2025. I think we've done pretty well with the uploads in January, but it's only going to get bigger and better. And that's what it's all about. And that's what we want to do. So thank you to everyone who's been in here today. I'm going to shout you all out. And by the way, if you are someone who's new around and doesn't know, we also have a Big Up channel, which is where we do a lot of the watch-alongs. We're a bit of both. We're doing watch-alongs on YouTube and Big Up. Please click this link. Please, I'll pin it as well. Click this link and go sign up. If anyone gets a new account, I'll shout you out on the next Big Up stream. So go and sign up to this. Join my community. And there we go. JJ has lost about 30 million value in half season. It's very true. It's very true. But look, shout out to everyone. Shout out to Meekin. Shout out to Steve B, to Aaron Morris, to Mark Dempsey, to the Vamos, the VJ, to the Pete Tandy. Shout out to Rusty John, to Steve B, to Anglo-Saxon, to Bongo Bongo, and to anyone else who's been in and around the chat watching or listening. I really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed what you've seen. Make sure you smash a like on the way out and go and sign up to Big Up. That's the place to be. That's the chat I read in the watch-alongs. Come and get involved. Big up to all of you guys. I'm out of it. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, whatever you do. And if I don't see you Saturday, well, I'll definitely see you on Sunday for the West Ham game. Up the Villa, up the mighty transfer window. We're out of it. Ta